Well, hi there, folks. Welcome to the program. This is Stinchfield, the podcast. I hope everybody had a fabulous Thanksgiving. So now it is Black Friday. And one of the things people love to do, they love to shop on Black Friday. So I'm going to go through some of the wellness company products that are just so fabulous. You can give some of these things as gifts, by the way, but for yourself as well. I just got this. This is the TheraBlue. This is a pain medication cream that I should call it a gel, really, is what it is. Peptides in here, which is, all the rage right now. And it's all the rage because it works. So Dr. Peter McCullough is my guest. We're going to talk about some of this stuff. And then, of course, we're going to talk vaccines. Dr. McCullough's new study that is still making news, calling into question the vaccines and their ties to autism. And then I've got some clips from students questioning RFK Jr. We'll get Dr. McCullough's response to that. And we'll go through all these products. But, folks, let me just remind you before we start the show, okay? This is very big. Right now, 25% off of supplements and prescription medications at the wellness company, okay? 20% off the medical kits and memberships. So what you do is go to twc.health/grant. These are big savings. I don't remember, and I've been working with these guys for a couple of years, the last time there was a sale, 25 and 20% off. So twc.health/grant. It'll take you right to where you need to go. We'll go through some of these products because everybody's shopping today. And again, we'll get to it, but we're also going to talk about how we're going to keep you healthy as well. So with that, folks, let's get to the program.
Uncensored and unapologetic. This is Stinchfield. Here's your host, Grant Stinchfield.
All right, welcome everybody. Not just me, but also, as I mentioned, Dr. Peter McCullough is here. Doc, it's great to have you on. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and welcome to the program.
Grant, I survived the turkey trot and then, of course, the big meal and the games. And I hope you and our listeners have made it through and ready for Black Friday and ready for the holiday season.
All right, so I made a mention of it before we jump into. I've got a clip of you and Senator Johnson. That's who it is. I was going to say Kennedy, but it's not. It's Senator Ron Johnson, which is very interesting about vaccines and the autopsy. I'm going to play that in a moment. But I just got this week in the mail. This is the TheraBlue peptide pain gel, deep pain gel that goes deep into your joints and muscles. Can you explain to me how you guys came up with this?
Grant, this has 11 ingredients in it, and these are really high-end ingredients: methylene blue, peptides, topical emollients, other natural pain relievers. And unlike other pain gels, you just don't rub it on when you have pain. You actually rub it on every day in the joints that kind of tend to bother you. For me, I'm a lifelong runner, and I don't have knee pain per se, but my knees feel old. And anybody who exercises a lot, they know what I'm talking about. It is wonderful. And I just put it on every day. I got out of the shower today, rubbed some in. And, this is absolutely, I think, the way to go. It's going to be revolutionary for people as they get older and they want to exercise and be active. But you have to make sure you put it on every day, probably twice a day for people who have certain pain syndromes, not just when you have pain, and then see how you feel over the next few weeks or months.
All right, that's helpful. So this is what the packaging looks like. I have hip problems, so I've got a torn labral cartilage in my right hip. I've had some stem cells and stuff done, which actually helped out a bit, but it always nags, and I don't want to get the surgery. So I'm looking forward to using this on that dull nagging pain that I have all the time. You think it'll be successful there?
Yeah, just rub it in every day. Now, you'll feel a little bit of that kind of pain reliever initially. You'll feel it. It's kind of like a menthol feel. But then pay attention to how that hip feels through the day. And, just do it day in and day out. And you'll start to realize, wait a minute, maybe it is. Remember, the Federal Trade Commission allows topical peptides to be used because they're safe and they clearly penetrate through the skin and, can affect localized joints. So it's a great product.
I work out a lot and I use peptides to help me recover from things. I have one in injectable, one pill form, helps promote hormone growth. These peptides are all the rage right now. Can you explain to me why peptides? They've been around for a while, but it seems like they've made this resurgence back onto the scene.
Well, the Federal Trade Commission, again, allows the shorter peptides for topical use and then, IV for specialty use. But I can tell you that because they're targeted, they're not monoclonal antibodies, they're not vaccines, they're essentially broken up by our natural enzymes. They're safe. And the ones that are targeted typically are trying to, recover tissue, stimulate recovery proteins. By the way, the Wellness Company has a drop, which is a peptide. It's retatrutide. It's a glucagon-like peptide. Semaglutide is a peptide. But when they're in a form, what's called an aquasome, and that's a specialized capsule that allows it to, not a capsule, but like a droplet that allows it to survive the GI tract. Now we're really talking about effects in the body that are wonderful.
And what are those effects?
Well, for the genre of drugs in this GLP area, it actually helps with weight loss, helps people condition. Most people are using drop and semaglutide to lose weight. Others are using peptides for recovery. You may use it. I know you're pretty buff in the gym, working out, using it for muscle recovery, overall body recovery.
Yeah, they've been amazing for me, and I can't wait to use the TheraBlue. We got some other products to talk about on this Black Friday. We'll do that, but I did want to get to the heart of some of the work that you've been doing. Now, this study that you did that connected the vaccines to autism, and specifically, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I'm probably going to oversimplify this, but the large number of vaccines given at one time to autism. Are you amazed that amongst my circles, it's gotten great traction? Amongst mainstream media circles, I'm not sure it's gotten any, Doc.
Well, it's interesting. I was watching CNN last night, Grant, and they interviewed Senator Bill Cassidy from Louisiana. He was on, and he said, there are so many studies that have, discounted this effect, dismissed the relationship. And then the CNN announcer said, there's plenty of studies and that have dismissed it. She looked so uncertain because probably she's talked to a lot of her friends who have kids with autism, and it happened right after they took a battery of vaccines. What Cassidy is missing, and what the McCullough Foundation report that was published came out, is called The Determinants of Autism Spectrum Disorders, published on October 27th, 2025 in the European Commission Open Air Zenodo preprint server. Grant, it's already had 200,000 downloads and reads. An average paper is less than 250. I mean, this is a bombshell. The CDC, after you're looking at this for 3 weeks, changed its statements on autism. What we outline is there's 29 studies that falsely dismissed the relationship between autism and vaccines, and the reason why they missed the association. The reason why they're not evidence-based, as the CDC says, is that they didn't have a true control group of truly unvaccinated children. They didn't interview the parents. They didn't confirm the vaccine cards or records, and they didn't examine the children to see if they really had autism. So these were studies done from administrative databases that weren't reliable. And now we have the vast majority of studies that have weighed in, a much larger number, have concluded, I believe the number was 107 studies have indicated now that there is a connection between a big bundle of vaccines and autism in a susceptible child. So if a child was born prematurely, or had older parents, or had certain common genetic factors, or in utero exposures to long-term psychiatric drugs in the mother, then gets a big battery of vaccines, that's the recipe for brain inflammation or encephalitis. And then a outcome of encephalitis is this post-encephalitic syndrome of autism.
So how did your study work? Did you guys go and review all of these different studies and then basically summarize it, or were you there actually testing and doing the studies yourself?
No, we compiled the entire body of literature. We received a grant to do so. We took all the studies in, including the most recent study entered into the Senate record in the most recent hearing presented by Attorney Aaron Siri. And so ours is a systematic review, an analysis of what exists. And because we extracted every single study into data tables, people can review them. Our analysis is unassailable, Grant. There's not a single credible person who said that.
All right.
They can't agree with our findings. Now, there's been a few ad hominem attacks, and people are concerned about vaccine hesitancy. But the science in the McCullough Foundation report is solid.
Well, I see what the media is doing is that even if some attack you, others just totally stay away from it. They don't want to give any publicity to it because they know it's unassailable, as you said. They can't attack it. So they're just going to ignore it and hope nobody sees it. Do you think that's what's happening?
No, I mean, the CDC has already changed its statements with 200,000 downloads and reads. This is worldwide now. It's been on almost all the independent media stations. It's being mentioned on CNN, and obviously they're picking and choosing the reaction, so it's made it onto the mainstream media. And what's going to happen now is HHS said they will do their own report, which they should. I think they should do their own original research. I think the parents now should be interviewed. What happened when their kids took vaccines? There should be thousands, tens of thousands of parents interviewed about what happened when their kids took vaccines. And there should be a control group where nothing happened with the kids. And that's called a prospective cohort study. And, we should start to see, instead of the CDC doing nothing, I mean, we should have large-scale prospective cohort studies. We're talking 20 to 40 to 100,000 kids should be studied. There are that many with autism. They deserve our attention.
So I'm curious, when you call into question these studies that were out there were flawed, they didn't do all these things, do the authors of those studies reach out to you? Do you reach out to them? Is there any kind of back and forth that they try to defend themselves?
No, it's completely independent. This is really important. So we don't want other people's opinions in there. People have asked, well, how come this group wasn't involved or that group involved? Independence is really important. So when the CDC does their own report, I should not be involved with that at all, Grant. It should be completely independent. And so when we get independent groups coming up with findings, then we can actually begin to assemble them. The big, what's called Danish cohort study, Hitkevin and Madsen are the ones who published from it. They recently came out with a paper on aluminum in vaccines, which is not a good thing. And they published an erratum, or basically a concession in Annals of Internal Medicine, saying, whoops, we missed a couple thousand kids with autism, so our original conclusions aren't valid. So even some of the authors themselves are invalidating their studies. Wow. They know that they missed this vaccine autism connection, and McCullough Foundation nailed it for the country and the world.
Do you think they missed it? Or do you think they ignored it because they're being funded by the big pharmaceutical complex and the universities that are being funded by the pharmaceutical complex? They know not to rock the boat.
Yeah, I think it's the latter, Grant. The biopharmaceutical complex is so strong. There's 20 studies that have indicated that being hesitant in taking a vaccine is not healthy skepticism like you and I would think. It's actually a mental disease, that if you are hesitant in taking a vaccine, you have a mental disease. So that's how far this has gone, Grant. This biopharmaceutical complex doesn't want to see a single manuscript that would lead to anybody being hesitant or questioning a vaccine. That's exactly what Bill Cassidy said last night on CNN. He said, listen, I don't want to see anything that would cause a mother or a father to have any discussion on this. They don't want any questions.
Wow.
They don't want any, people doing their own research.
Well, any mother and father out there ought to be doing their own research, watching podcasts like this. Hey, take in all sides. And then you know what? I trust people to make decisions for themselves, right? You find people that you tend to trust, and then, you take everything for what it's worth and make a decision when you bring in lots of information into your brain. You don't need to just listen to somebody, but when you blindly pay attention to somebody, boy, we learned our lesson on that one, Doc.
Mm-hmm. Well, Grant, the thing I don't like about what Bill Cassidy is saying is what he's saying is parents shouldn't do their own research.
Wow.
Parents shouldn't ask any questions. Parents shouldn't have any hesitancy on this. What he's saying is, listen, take this whole schedule of vaccines and shut up.
And he's a doctor, right?
He's a doctor. He's a gastroenterologist, a hepatologist. He's not somebody who's considered famous or considered a doctor of authority. But as a senator, I can tell you the people in Louisiana are not happy right now because he's not encouraging parents to do their own research. We should always do that. People should always have the right to answer questions. And that's the reason why they go to Stinchfield, the podcast.
Yeah, well, thank you. It seems to me like there's a lot of doctors out there that don't like to be questioned. And so now there's this whole movement to question your doctor. It must be driving some of them crazy.
I'm a little bit late for the pre-taping, Grant, for that reason alone. I mean, I have people with a lot of questions. They travel a long distance. They write them down. And, doctors have to schedule the time or take the time to answer every question. I finish at the end by, any more questions, any more questions, any more questions. I give all my patients my cell phone because I know they're going to have more questions. But that's our job as doctors and nurses. We're supposed to answer questions.
All right. Can you take me back, Dr. McCullough? You clearly one of the premier cardiologists in the world, I'm going to say. And now you've become such an authoritative voice on everything COVID, the vaccines, and all of these things with the studies. But when you were a cardiologist before the COVID deal, were you speaking for pharmaceutical companies? Were you making money speaking on the tours? Does that all change? Do they shut you down? What role did that play on you? Do you mind taking me into that world?
Well, like most academic physicians, I interfaced with the pharmaceutical companies. They fund about 2/3 of research. So yeah, I had 7 figures in pharmaceutical research funding. It's not money that went to me personally, but it paid for research staff, facilities, testing, medications. Pharmaceutical companies had programs and covered speakers' travel, and we had to fill out non-disclosure forms and things of that nature. But sure, I mean that's just part of business, just like any other form. When you interface with an industry, there's a relationship, and there's all kinds of firewalls to make sure that people are being honest with their scientific opinions, and from non-disclosures, conflict of interest disclosures, what's called following pharma guidelines. And sure, I did all that.
Did you? And I want everyone out there to know, Doc, I've known you now. I don't know how long, 4, 5, 6 years, maybe, at least from the start of the pandemic and then beyond. So, and I know you as one of the few doctors, almost all of them at the wellness company, I trust. There's not a lot of doctors out there that I really utmost trust as much as I trust you, Doc. And I mean this, not just blowing smoke up your you-know-what. So when you were doing all this, I believe you were the same upstanding guy that you are today, would have been fully willing to call out if you saw nonsense. Did you ever feel the pressure from pharmaceutical companies? Did they ever try to put the screws to you? I don't like this study.
No. I'll tell you that what's really different, Grant, is the vaccines. And we highlight this in our book, where the corrupt area of medicine is vaccines. And in our book, Vaccines, Mythology, Ideology, and Reality, there's been about 3 centuries of this, where the vaccine companies essentially do not allow anything negative to be said on their products. Nothing. And in every other area, Grant, I've done tons of drug safety manuscripts about, the complications from one drug or another drug, from blood thinners to blood pressure lowering drugs, liver and kidney effects. All drugs have risks and benefits, and we do research on the risks and benefits of these drugs. That's fine. Pharmaceutical companies pay for that research. That's how we develop the safety dossier. But vaccines companies will not allow a single negative thing on vaccines. That's where the corruption is. Now, the reason why trust has been lost in doctors is that most doctors recommended patients take these COVID vaccines. And for many patients, the vaccines have caused damage. Some, it's been disabling. And, even for some, it's been fatal. A recent Rasmussen survey, Grant, I don't know if you saw this out, indicates 36% of people who took the shots have some type of, lingering side effect.
Wow. It's unbelievable. I want to play for you this clip that I mentioned earlier about you and Senator Johnson talking about autopsies and how many people may have died from the vaccines. The number seems insane to me. I'm going to play the clip and then let you explain it to me. Before I do that, I just want to show people what the wellness company is doing right now for Black Friday, and it's fabulous. So this is an annual sale. I haven't seen an annual sale like this. 25% off of supplements and RX. So there's the drops that Dr. McCullough was talking about. The appetite, I guess, suppressant, melt the fat away, and get your life back, right? This is about taking control of your life with you and your family. So November 27th through the 30th, you're going to get this 25% off of supplements and prescription medications, 20% off of the memberships and the medical kits. So there you see ivermectin, 25% off, 20% off of the medical kits. This is the stuff that can't be beat. 20% off of the membership deals, which is fabulous. So I urge people, go to the website, and I'm going to throw it up here on your screen, twc.health/grant. That's twc.health/grant. All the links to everything you need will be right there. Discounts will be applied automatically. twc.health/grant. What a great, by the way, gift package you can give by putting one of those medication kits in your daughter's house, your loved one's house. I just think it's a great move, and I urge people to check out the Black Friday sale at twc.health/grant. Big sale, Doc, and it's a great time to take advantage of these savings.
Grant, one product you didn't show there, it's brand new, but I told my patients today to give it as stocking stuffers, is get Immune Defense. Immune Defense is an innovative nasal spray and throat spray that prevents colds and RSV and flu and COVID-19. It's wonderful. And if you're traveling out there, you're on planes, I tell them, listen, use it before and after you get on a plane. Use it twice a day. Use the throat spray twice a day after you brush your teeth. And you can cut down your risk dramatically of getting any type of viral infection. Why not?
This is the spray you were telling me about a while back that you use it every day, correct?
Yeah, every day. I did it this morning, Grant. I'll do it again tonight. I saw patients in the office. Don't know. Somebody could have had something. They just came on airplanes to see me. So use it's got a great name, Immune Defense. And so you can get this. They're travel friendly. They're great stocking stuffers. And this is an unbelievable sale, Grant. You're 25% off. Some of the products are very high end. We talked about peptides, medical emergency kits, ivermectin, mebendazole, ivermectin alone. Now's the time to stock up with this huge sale.
Yeah, I used and went through the parasite detox, parasite cleanse, and I thought that was great to go through. It's pricey, but you have a whole bunch of courses that you get with this cleanse. So I want people to think about what you're actually getting, and the dosage size with the parasite cleanse is better than anybody out there that's selling these things, Doc.
Right. And so keep some on hand, Grant, because I know you eat a lot of sushi and you keep doing it. Sooner or later, you're going to get some sushi that's not just right. Or, you're going to go to a church picnic and, you don't know what you're eating or getting to the holidays. It's always good to have that around because, believe me, when there's abdominal cramping, night sweats, and things like this, it could be a parasitic infection.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I wanted to show this. There's the sushi, the parasites in the sushi. It's the most, It's the most disgusting thing I've seen at grocery stores. And I play this all the time. If you don't want to get a parasite cleanse after seeing the parasites in your sushi at the grocery store, but mebendazole and ivermectin, and to me it was great, and I'm glad I went through it because I just wanted all that stuff out of my system, Doc.
And did you have any side effects from it, Grant?
No side effects whatsoever. In fact, it's hard for me to say, all right, now, because this is the scientific method of this. I started taking the recharge around the same time I was taking the methylene blue. So I felt like I was losing a little brain fog. Now, I don't know if the parasite cleanse was making me lose the brain fog or the recharge was giving me extra energy and I had a clearer mind about me and a little more energy. I don't know which one was helping me, but no side effects whatsoever.
Oh, that's great to hear. So yeah, make sure everybody checks with their doctor on that. Ivermectin and benzoyl are prescription drugs. You should have normal liver function going into this. Patients on a lot of different drugs with drug trafficking through the liver, check with your doctor. But great, you had no side effects, Grant, and you're better. And keep a little backup on hand.
Absolutely, Doc. Absolutely. Okay, let me play this clip of you talking to Senator Kennedy, and he asks you about these autopsies. Take a listen.
And do you have any science to back up your opinion?
The best data are autopsies. So in the largest autopsy series published to date, I know because I'm the senior author, of all the deaths we examined, and we re-reviewed them. We had an adjudication committee. We had ways of arbitration deciding on did the vaccine cause death. The answer is, of these cases that came in for autopsy after vaccination, 73.9% of individuals, it was determined that the vaccine was the cause of death. First author is Holscher and colleagues. He's sitting right behind me.
Doc, explain that I heard that right, that the cause of death was the vaccine?
It's true, Grant. And these deaths, all these public figures who are dying, and it's mysterious what happened, and they won't tell you if they took the vaccine or not. If we were to do autopsies, especially when there's no antecedent disease, they're perfectly healthy, and then boom, they suddenly die. If we were to do autopsies, probably 74% of the time we'd find a blood clot or vaccine heart damage, or find the vaccine spike protein in organs, in the brain, intracranial hemorrhage. I mean, it keeps going on and on. I mean, look at Damar Hamlin, Buffalo Bills. If he didn't get good CPR and get his heart shocked on the field, he would have been a goner. If that would have happened at home, that would have been it.
I think you've talked to the gentleman that I've interviewed a number of times that has done the studies on the blood clots, and he started collecting data from the, not coroners, but the embalmers. And they're saying they're pulling out blood clots at a huge rate compared to what they were before the virus came on the scene.
Right. So this is important. So before the pandemic, it was very rare to ever have large blood clots form, because in general, when the body dies, the body liquefies and they drain the blood out. They put cannulas in, they drain the blood out, and then the body's embalmed. But now, as Tom Haviland has done a big survey of embalmers through the pandemic, now over 70% of deceased bodies have huge blood clots forming in them. And this is among the vaccinated and the unvaccinated, Grant. So this is very important. And it's probably the pandemic spike protein, the SARS-CoV-2 spike protein that gets stuck in the human body. The spike protein looks like this, Grant. It's this spike on the surface. So when you get COVID, this gets stuck in your body. Now, you and I had COVID. We didn't take the shots, but the spike protein got stuck in our body. That's the reason why we feel better on the Ultimate Spike Detox from a wellness company, because it's dissolving away the spike protein. That's the reason why that recharge product, it made you feel better, because the spike protein is taking down a lot of our recharging systems in the body, and you take a wellness company recharge and you get that boost. But the pandemic has influenced us, Grant. Wow. There's no doubt about it. Most people, if they think about it, will say, you know what, I felt better before this whole coronavirus ordeal.
Yeah. Here's the Ultimate Spike Detox that you were it played such an instrumental role in coming up with this to get that spike protein out. Mm-hmm. And I know you love this product, don't you?
Yeah, it's peer-reviewed, scientifically supported, multiple studies now. I was the first to publish it in 2023. Grant, I take it myself. I watched my spike protein antibody levels go down. I got better. My ears are no longer ringing. So now I just take it on a regular basis, since there are data suggesting it protects against heart attack or stroke. It's a mild blood thinner. All of us are prone to blood clots when we fly. So Ultimate Spike Detox is a good product. And I think it's there for the long term. Most people need it for a good solid year at the prescribed doses, then probably a maintenance after that.
Well, I'll tell people the link is in the description to this video, twc.health/grant. And again,
Right.
You got 25% off supplements and prescription medications, 20% off memberships and medical kits, which is great. Before I let you go, you wanted me to play my favorite part of the Senator Ron Johnson interview with you. You ready for this?
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
And do you have any science to back up your opinion?
That's like asking Babe Ruth if he's ever hit home runs. Anybody that's ever
Well,
interviewed,
Grant,
did you have anything to back it up? Dr. McCullough's naming off every freaking study that's ever
right.
been
Well,
done.
Grant, that's what America's best doctors do. And, when I testify in the U.S. House of Representatives, I had the same panel that had Fauci just the day before. I was grilled for about 3 hours, and I cited dozens and dozens of papers, first author. I'm the first author or senior author on over 100 papers now on the pandemic. So I know the data that I published well. And I asked them, did Anthony Fauci cite a single source of data? They said, Dr. McCullough, not one.
Wow.
Not one. Can you imagine a man who needed to have a preemptive pardon for the medical advice he gave to America and to the world, and he didn't have a single bit of science to back it up?
If it was me, I would have to have notes. I would have to refer to it. I can't, like you mentioned Tom Havland. I've interviewed him a million times. I forgot his name. So I just said the guy. You knew the guy's name. Do you have a photographic memory?
No, Grant, I don't. I get up early in the morning. People subscribe to my Focal Point Substack. They get it at 4 a.m. And I just study hard. I finished top of my class in medical school. I had the best training. Even before the pandemic, I was the top guy in my field in
Just
the world.
say it. I'm just smarter than everybody.
No, I just work harder. I'm kind of like Jerry Rice on the 49ers. Remember how Jerry Rice, they asked him, Jerry, why are you the best receiver in the league? He goes, I just work harder.
Yeah. Yep. You do work hard. Hardest working doctor I know. And then you find time for guys like me and doing your work at the wellness company. You got all your patients as well. Before I let you go, Dr. McCullough, where can people find you on social media?
Well, start out at McCulloughFND.org. That's McCullough Foundation. We're supported by your grants in the community that supported our work on autism, on the McCullough protocols that have saved so many lives. Make sure you go to my professional website, petermcculloughmd.com. There's information there about how to get an appointment in Dallas with me. And then make sure you go to my podcast, America Out Loud Talk Radio, McCullough Report, every Saturday and Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, and then on the Apple iHeart Podcast Network after that. And of course, go to the wellness company, twc.health/grant.
There you go, Doc.
Get these discounts. I got to tell you what, you're knocking it out of the park. Some of these products, as you mentioned, they're on the pricey side. So now's the time to get the deep discount.
I'll throw that up there. twc.health/grant. There's the website right there. Dr. McCullough, always great to see you. I'm glad you had a great Thanksgiving. I'm glad you finished the turkey trot. And on to Christmas now. Thank you, my friend. It's always great to see you.
Thank you.
All right, absolutely. And folks, don't forget. And this is big. I want to remind you again. Let's just put it up here. This is the big sale. twc.health/grant. Black Friday, 25% off supplements and prescription medications, memberships and medical kits, 20% off. You cannot beat that. twc.health/grant. And be there or be square. Again, folks, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I'm off the Real America's Voice show tonight, but we got I taped a show for you. So we're going to have that for you tonight. So it's as if it was live. You'll never know the difference. And I hope you enjoy that tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time on Real America's Voice. God bless every single one of you. I hope all of you had a very special Thanksgiving. Stinchfield's Army rolls, as you know, because of all of you. Big thanks to the Wellness Company. We'll see you here next week.